This morning, I don't know, I'm sure what happened, but at 2 o'clock in the morning, I wake up in the morning. Just wake up, bing. Well, I do know what happened. You guys ever, this may be more of a guy thing than a gal thing, but you ever just, like, wake up on the couch in the middle of the night? You're sitting there on the couch, you get all comfy in your chair, and your beautiful wife's like, "I'm gonna go to bed." Okay. Okay. Right? And then around 11 o'clock, your neck's hurting, so you wake up, and so you go to bed. And then at around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, because you just slept so good on the chair, you're wide awake. Like, oh no, what am I going to do? So, you just try to close your eyes, and you're like, come on, baby, come on, baby, come on, baby. Nothing. Well, at 2 o'clock in the morning, Amy and I both wake up at the exact same time. I can hear her over there just rustling around, and she's not doing her normal sleepy groans. It's the awake kind of thing. And then out of nowhere, in the middle of the night, I'm not sure if you guys get this, but we have our 3 German shepherds sleep in our room on their little beds, and in the complete silence, you hear this, and you're hoping it's going to go away, right? And you're just sitting there and you listen to this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, which dog is it? I got 3 of them in there. I'm like, which one is it? So you're trying to figure out your bearings on the sound because you got one over here, one at the end of the bed, and you're like, I'm like, oh my gosh, Max. Okay, well, Amy's not pissed about it yet, so we're just going to kind of roll with it. And next thing you know, about 3 minutes in, Max! I'm like, oh, she's awake. She's awake. And Max is like, and so I get up. I'm like, you're a good Max, good Max. And I pet him down, and then hopefully it goes away. Well, luckily, I think we went back to sleep before he started back into it again. But I'm not sure what he was licking, but it was, like, intense. I'm like, he must have got gum on his paw or something. I don't know, but he was going at it. Anyway, so Amy and I are talking, and Amy's like, oh, crap. I'm like, what? I got a greet this morning. I'm like, oh, Art and Chris are not going to be at church? Because Art and Chris are the ones that do the coffee. They do the temperature. They get the lights turned on all at 7:30 in the morning. They get the communion set up. And then I come moseying in between 7:45 and 8 o'clock, get the sound going, all that stuff. But these guys are here. Like, before anybody else is through these doors. They make sure this place is comfy, cozy before we walk through these doors. And nobody ever know it, but this is what they do. And so all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh, man, now I got to get up extra early to get in here and get this stuff done. I didn't know until 2 o'clock this morning. And so go back to sleep, and my alarm goes off. You guys ever do this? You just snooze it? No? I do. I don't snooze it. I actually have 5 alarms. I turn that one off, and then wait for the next one. I'm like, oh, I'll wait for the next one. And then that one goes off. I'm like, dang it, Josh. No, get up and go. So you get up and get down there. I got everything rocking and rolling. We're done, good to go. And then we jump right into music practice. And it's like, you're just like, ga, 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 just like rocking and rolling, just kind of rocking it through this thing. You guys ever do this? It's like, you have this nice plan for the morning. You're going to get up and do your thing. And then it gets kiboshed by a dog licking his paw. And nobody? Oh, just me. All right, just me. That's okay. It's okay. It's my life, my struggle. I guess. I'm sure you guys all got different stories you can tell me about how your morning gets jacked up. Like the other morning I woke up, and I went out to start my trash truck. They brought it home, and I went to start my trash truck, and it's like, click. Oh, you've had that problem. Okay, good. I found one. We can now relate to one another. Good deal. It's like it ran perfectly yesterday, and it wasn't that cold last night, but you got to be at work in 15 minutes and you're 12 minutes away, and click. It's like, oh my gosh, no. And this time of year at 5:30 in the morning, it's really dark, and it's really cold, and you're still groggy because you woke up a little late and you weren't supposed to wake up late, but you let that snooze go, a couple, 3 alarms, and so you're not in a hurry, but you got your coffee going, and you're getting things rocking when lunch is made, and then click. And then you start thinking, Jesus, you have another car. And so you jump in that car. You don't let it warm up like you're supposed to, right? So now you hear the knocking because the oil's not through the whole motor yet. It's like, as it's going down. Nobody? Just me. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. No worries. So what we're going to do today is, again, Joe and I are going to tag team. But I'm going to start you guys off with, Joe's going to jump on here in a second. But what I just told you or gave you an example of is priorities. All right, that's what that's what I ran into this morning. That's what I ran into the other day without my trash truck not starting was priorities. If I got up when I wanted to, when I told myself I was going to, when I set my alarms I was going to, I would have had time to jump my truck because I would have had time to go fuel my my trash truck up, which I needed to, but I didn't. Why? Because of my most important thing at that moment in time was sleep, right? And that was because that all started from, there was a chain reaction, and that all started because I decided not to go to bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock. I decided to fall asleep on the couch and not wake up when my beautiful wife says, Josh, go to bed. And so I'm sitting there. Now I got a kink in my neck, and I can't go to sleep very good. Then you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, finally go back to sleep, and now you're really getting some good sleep, and the alarm goes off. If I would have just done the right thing, and the night before, at that point, I wouldn't have been late to work that morning. Joe, come here and tell your story. Come on, baby.
So Martha should have given the same priority that Mary did, okay? Just like Martha, many of us are so busy, we have so many distractions, and we're occupied by so many things that it keeps us from hearing the words of Jesus. Even the good things we're involved in many times need to be put in their proper priority place so that we can do the most important thing first.
Tell you what, the most important thing would have been to turn your mic on. Yeah, one thing, Joe.
It's on.
It's on now. We're good to go. So if you're online, he's talking about, what was your verse again? Because the people online, and they're going to watch this later.
Matthew 6:33.
Matthew 6:33 about Martha and Mary.
And Luke 10:38.
Just real quick, recap it just for those, because they couldn't hear you online.
Okay, all right.
Just real quick. Don't
quick.
do the whole thing again.
The first thing first, right? So Martha and Mary, and Martha was... What?
Shannon's playing tricks.
That was where I was going next, right? Good job. Good one. Good one. Anyway, about Martha and Mary, and that you can get distracted by serving and doing things rather than spending time first with the Lord and His Word.
Yeah, perfect. So I'll tell you what, this priority thing has come to me in a really rough way. Joe and I were talking about this on Friday. What were you talking about? What was the thing you brought up about the devil?
I've slept since then.
No, the devil thing. What were you talking about?
Yeah, getting the words in your mouth.
What were you
speaking the problem.
Okay, so he doesn't want to tell you. So I'll see if I can remember what he was talking about, dude. I'm trying to help him.
I'll do it.
Okay, just do it. Just tell him.
Okay. Yeah, we were talking about how, with all the stress of life and everything, that wherever our focus is, okay, is where your words are going to be. I mean, the enemy's whole desire, he has no power over you except to deceive you. And the only way he can do that is if he can get you to begin to walk in fear and take you out of the promises and speak his words and his stuff. Then he can use his power against you, okay? Because your power and your authority is released in your words, okay? Good?
Yeah, see, that wasn't hard. Good job. That was awesome. Yeah, does that make sense? I mean, you guys know this, right? How many of you guys actually heard this before, and you put this somewhat in practice in your life? Everybody does. How many actually do it every day? How many actually do it every single moment of every single day? How many ever gets angry and then puts it in practice? Come on, right? So let's think about that real quick. Okay, we can all say we've heard it. That's what I told Joe. Mm-hmm. Every single person I told him was that we say that at church. You all have heard it before. You all know it. You all actually probably say it at the dinner table or in your quiet time or whatever else. But how much do we actually put into practice? What is a priority? What is a priority? What is priorities? You guys know what priorities actually means? It's the most important thing. The thing you put, like you said, first. It's the most important thing. People, and you can see this if you focus, especially this time in life at work, where you have nobody there to help you. You know, you've got, a 35% workforce and 65% are sitting at home. And so right now, with people in their offices and their works and everything else, what are we doing? We go to the highest priority. Right? Everybody's customer service is lacking. The phones are ringing off the hook, but people can't get through. Why? Because there's nobody there. So what do? We go to the highest priority in our work. We get home, we're stressed out. What do? We go to our highest priority. Maybe that's dinner. Maybe that's yelling at the kids. I don't know. It's your life. It's not my department. My highest priority, and I didn't do it on Friday. First thing I do when I walk through the door is I give that young lady back there a kiss. Except for Friday. I had a different priority. I sent the kids a list of chores to do, and I said to get these done, and if not, you're going to do them again. And so I was in a mission mode. Have you ever been in a mission mode? Right? You get a lot of stuff done, but everybody else around you, suffers for it, right? And because mission mode is your track, your priority, and nobody else cares. You're like, you're doing great, but what about? And you're like, you're an adult. Take care of yourself. Okay. So I got in there and I did my thing with the kids, and it was awesome because every single one of the 3 kids didn't clean the correct way, so they had to do it again. It was great. It wasn't just picking out one and the other 2 did awesome or 2 did terrible and 1 did awesome. It was all of them. I mean, I did like white glove. I went a little extreme. I walked on the counter. I'm like, you really clean this counter? And she's like, yes, I did. I'm like, well, do it again. Do it again. But I had to find something for everybody. Anyway, but my normal priority when I walk through that door, because when I get home these days, is I'm home. We debrief about work and stuff like that, but it's when I first walk through the door, it is generally I walk up to her, hey babe, how you doing? I give her a hug and a kiss. That's my priority. It's been my priority for over 7 years. This is what I do. And Friday, I had a different priority, and so I spent the next 30 minutes apologizing, not because she was frustrated at me. I don't think she even realized it, but I disappointed myself because that was my priority. What happened? Different things took over other things I knew were right. Does that make sense? I know it's a small little thing, but the small thing stacked up makes a big thing. Look at an atom bomb. Right? It's the smallest of things making a very big effect. What'd you call me? Exactly, the ball of hate, big boom, exactly. You're right. But I mean, you think about what do you set your priorities at? What is the most important thing? And then, based on that answer, is the result you're going to get. You want to look back and say, why is my life X? Why is my life happy? Why is my life, disheveled? Look back in time. Where were your priorities? Because that's going to point you to where you are today. And if you don't like today, then you better change your priorities moving forward.
Yeah, whatever you put time in is what's going to draw your energy. Whatever you're looking at is going to draw your energy and your time. And what you said is important because those little things in a marriage, you better be putting time and energy in that marriage, right? Better. But the most important thing to me is the Lord in the morning is something. I used to only do it running down the mountain in a hurry. Not fair. I felt like I did my time. I prayed and I did all that, running down the mountain, listening to a tape or praying. It's not the same as stopping, sitting down, shutting that out, and just going, what do you want to do, Lord? Let's just talk about it, and getting that thing set first in your heart. There was a guy who said one day, what was that old saying? Something about, I got so busy I didn't have time to pray, and then I was so busy I wish I had. Stop to pray, because we get running that fast. And for me, pretty soon I'm putting out 911. You said it in a different way, but you're putting out fires all day long. You're putting out all these fires and doing all this, and there's really there's no rest in that. It's always just like, I got to get this and this and this and this. And the way you start out when you were so high energy flying, that's exactly how our day goes if we don't start it out right. Okay?
I mean, can anybody relate to what I'm talking about right now in your physical life? I mean, you look at the current temperature of the world right now. Look at the current temperature of the world. This is a huge focus on what a lot of our brain activity works on. Like I heard you guys have heard about all the immigrants coming in that are flying in from the Middle East? You guys hear about the 42,000 children that went missing? 42,000 Afghani children, immigrants, went missing. Where'd they go? They're in the States somewhere. I watched this one guy that tracks flights. Right? Yep. Monkey. And every single day for the last 3-4 months, there's flights coming in and then into one spot in Texas and then spreading out from there into different parts. Colorado Springs is one big spot. right? We can think about this. Think about this. Of course, where my head goes is the fall of Rome, because that's how Rome fell, was by the immigrants from outside making deals with the emperor and coming in and infiltrating into their army, and then when the time came, they took over Rome. I mean, there's a bunch of different things that weakened Rome, like the volcanoes that jacked the climate up and they lost the crops and a bunch of different things like that. But really, it was that's where my head goes. That's a different story, but yes. It's very much like a Trojan horse, yes. Exactly. It gets you from the inside, right? So, but I mean, just naturally, I don't trust authoritative bodies. I don't trust that authoritative bodies actually are looking out for myself, my family, and my people, just as a natural me, right? I'm a very trusting person from person to person individually. Older I get, the worse I get on that. But really, if I meet you the first time, I'm going to trust you until you break it. My brother, he don't trust you until you prove it. It's different. But when it comes to something that is supposedly supposed to keep my lights on, keep the gas flowing to my propane provider, then he delivers it to me, to keep the banks working, I don't trust those bodies. Naturally, I don't trust those bodies. So that's throughout the day, this is where my head goes, right? This is where my head goes. My life verse is Ephesians 4:8-9. Whatever is good, honest, pure, lovely, just, I can't remember everything. Think on these things. That's my life verse. What are those things? I've said in the past, those are God's emotions, but we can also look at them as God's priorities. You do these things, then what happens? We go from brain to heart, that's how it naturally works. We hear it, and we eventually get it into our heart, and then from the heart, what happens? We live it. So if you look at your priorities, I would say look at your heart, because out of your heart, it comes your priorities or your actions or what you're intending to do.
Absolutely right. You can put that scripture up now, John. Thanks. It was good then too, but so in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And it goes on to say, the same was in the beginning with God, and that Word became flesh and dwelt among us, right? So when we're talking, I like to take it back to the Word too, and he does really good on these life examples. But the Word of God, spending time with Jesus is spending time in His Word. Jesus and His Word are one. You want to, and the Holy Spirit will teach you, about the heart of God, about the heart of Jesus, and about who you really are in Him, which really sets the stage for how you're going to respond to all this other stuff coming down the line at you. Right? Sound good? Okay. And James 1:21 says to receive with meekness the engrafted word, the inborn word that's in your spirit by the Holy Spirit already, which is able to save your soul. And he's talking about soul realm stuff, right? So our emotions, our mind, will, and emotions are really going to be trashed if we don't receive with meekness the engrafted word and allow the Word of God to set your heart right, to set your emotions right, so you're not responding out of fear, anxiety, worry, and the busyness of life.
John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever would believe in Him would have everlasting life." That's a priority.
Yes.
That's a promise. Anything you read in the Bible as a promise of God, make that a priority. Does that make sense? It's different. I mean, it's just a different way of looking at it, I guess. Because it's like if I make a promise to somebody, then I'm going to make that a priority in my life to complete that promise. Or I'm not. And then that makes me a liar. Right? What are we doing in our lives? I mean, I look at the world around me, man, and I mean, I'm a prepper, man. I'm a prepper. I am. I got stuff stacked up just in case we had 8-foot snow or zombie apocalypse. It doesn't, either one matter. Two different extremes, doesn't matter. If we get an earthquake and lights go out, we can live at least for X amount of time. We'll find out. We never tried it. We should try it sometime. See how long we can live without power. Just we'll wait till summer. Except for I need my winter's actually good. It keeps my freezers cold. But anyway, I mean that's what I do. But I made that a priority. Why? Because I'm going to take care of my family no matter what. And I have extra stuff just in case you don't. Small amount to you, not everybody. I can't take care of everybody. But, I mean, that's how I prepare physically. Because I have a distrust for people that say they're going to take care of me. I don't trust you. I was always raised to take care of yourself. Put your nose down, work hard, get your stuff, do your thing, don't go into debt, whatever. But, here's a crazy story. You guys will probably know this, but I didn't know this. Back in the day, I bought a house. I bought a car. The last loan I ever had expired and was paid off back in 2012. That was my very last loan. I'm looking at doing another loan for a pickup. I went to get my credit checked, and they told me I have no credit. Because my rule was you don't buy anything unless you can afford it. And so I've done very good in the last 12 years of not buying anything unless I can afford it. And now I can't buy anything that I can't afford because I don't have any credit. So now I'm 18 years old again, trying to figure out how to buy a truck. It's like, are you kidding me? I stepped out of the system like I was supposed to, and now I'm getting punished for it because I stepped out of the system. Whatever, I don't need that dang truck. We'll figure it out, right? We'll figure it out, not a problem. But that was my priority, and this is the result of my priority. I'm not in debt, but I want to go in debt, maybe. And I can't go in bed. Exactly. So it's really weird. But you look at your physical life, and you look at the priorities you have there, and now let's translate that back to your spiritual and mental life, the side that God talks to, the side that God works with, and how much of that is connected to God's promises. Whenever we're comfortable, whenever we're doing things are easy, things are light, no big deal. There was snow that came in on, was it Wednesday? Anybody on the roads on Wednesday night? There was a lot of people on the roads Wednesday night, and a lot of people were off the road on Wednesday night. You were on it? You were doing good? There was a car, still a car over on 73 upside down on its roof. You seen that? Still, it was there on Wednesday, and it's still there as of yesterday at like 4:30 in the afternoon. I'm like, well, that's not a priority. That's your car? Oh. He's like, that's fine. Is it still there? Okay. There's still this morning. I mean, it's like, and so, I'm thinking about it, and because I had to come down here and help my daughter with the cat sitting project Wednesday evening. And this is where this might work out. No, it's a priority. I made Amy's words a priority. Gentlemen, this is awesome. I finally grew up. I am now a wise individual. Watch this. So my trash truck, I need to take it home because I need to dump it because I had to do some stuff on Thanksgiving to take care of some customers. And Amy walks up and she goes, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "I'm going to go dump the truck and then go home, get Emma, then go back out." And she's like, "So you don't think you can just take the truck home and then dump it tomorrow?" I said, "Oh, I can probably dump it tomorrow." And then I started thinking. That's where Josh's like, "Wait. Listen, it's snowing like crazy, and this is a two-wheel drive, 20,000-pound trash truck." And so she's like, "Just take it home." I'm like, the wise man said, "Okay." And I did, and here's what happened. I took that truck home, got the girls, and we went down the hill in my little Dakota. And we come down here, traffic is whatever, it's going up. But I turn around, maybe 20-minute turn around, go back up. Right around this corner here, there was traffic everywhere. If I took that trash truck down, I'd have been chaining up or I'd have been part of the problem if I didn't listen to wisdom. I made her words my priority because she's never led me wrong. Gentlemen, I mean, I'll tell you what, it's I know. But the young man in me, maybe you guys can relate to this because I drive every single day. The young man in me says, you don't understand. I can do it. This is what I do. This is my job. I drive in snow. I'm not scared of snow. Don't worry about it. And, of course, she'll be like, okay. I'll be like, hey, baby. I'm running a little late today. Don't worry about it. Tow truck, don't worry about it. We're safe.
So when she was coming home, that's my wife, Robin, and she was coming home, she had Courtney, our daughter, and Justin, our granddaughter, with her. And so she's texting me. I'm going, "It's really slick, Brother Church." I'm going, "Get off your phone," But it was her granddaughter that was texting for her, right? And so finally this text comes through, and she said, "Grammy wants to know if you have good tires on this vehicle." that she's sliding around in the ice, but she isn't sliding. And I wrote back and I said,
You
yes.
didn't look before
I
you
said,
got in. You got to do your pre-check before you jump
no,
in the
because she knows that I'll take care of it. See, so I had the tires on there and everything. I wrote back. I said, the very best. You're in good hands. You know, while everybody else is sliding, you're going to make it home. You know, but I did it ahead of time. See,
because you screwed up in the past, right? Is that because you screwed up in the past?
No, I never mess up. I never miss that. Never. Okay. Never when it comes to her safety,
Right.
And the grandkids and anybody else on the road. So here's some questions for you. If you don't know the promises, if you're not spending time in relationship with the Lord Jesus in a personal way, and you're not allowing him to impact your heart, how are you going to know what he promised for you? How do you know, right? How do you know? You don't. You don't, right? You cannot believe beyond what you know, okay? So when a crisis of life presents, I said when, because they will present, right? When the storms of life come, right? There's a few storms around, right? Who do you consult first? Some thoughts for you. Who do you consult first? Do you solicit
My wife. Consult my
my wife. Yeah. Hold on a minute. Okay. I told you I wasn't sure where this is going. Anyway, do you solicit just some thoughts here. Do you solicit the aid of man first? Do you run to your financial advisor first? Do you run to, and no offense, I love medicine, I love doctors, I love all that, but do you run there first, or do you go to the healer first and then get wisdom on what you're supposed to do with it, right?
The doctor and the financial people.
Yes.
That's what I run to first.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Okay, good. Do you go to man's healing system, right? Or do you wait until you exhaust all of your own efforts, running around like that 100 miles an hour, you know, trying to make everything work, and then when it's not, then we stop and go to God, right? Better way is first, right?
Well, it is, but the truth is, yes, we do.
Mm-hmm. It is, we do.
We really do.
And that's not a knock, I'm just saying
It's what we do.
It's what we do, right? And then ask God for help. Or do we run to the one, I like how this is worded, do we run to the one with whom all things are possible? Because he's always believing, he's always right on, he's always faithful, you can always trust him, he's always there, he never leaves you. Where'd you go, God? Well, you got yourself a little busy, you're not hearing me very well.
I mean, how many people do that? Yeah? You guys are better than me. Because I'll tell you what, I get sick. Of course, I don't go to the doctor. I don't like doctors that much, but I do the sick thing. But when something else is going on, I'm talking to everybody else. You know? I honestly, I don't. I don't always go to God first.
Right.
Because I think I can get it in my head. I think I can do it.
Yeah. When I was in Africa on my, probably the first out of the country ever mission trip for me, maybe the only one, I can't remember now. But I was in this hut in the middle of the boonies up by the Ugandan border, and they're open. It's not like they shut the doors at night, it's open, right? And so I'm sitting there going, dear God, I said, I'm really glad you're protecting me from whatever's out there at night roaming around. And he says, you got that right. And he says, you better remember when you get back home that I'm the only thing that protects you in your own circumstances. And he said, you think you can handle differences out here, you know you don't have a choice. You have no idea what you're doing, right? But back here, I think I got it right. So we take it on again and we think we can handle it. You know, and so he is so loving, he'll let you do it until you go, help. Best prayer there is.
Well, there's a good test to see if you actually trust in God or not.
You better believe it.
Easy test. Are you stressed?
There's your test.
Are you angry? Are you frustrated?
Shut up.
Right? Are you mad at that driver?
Yeah.
I mean, I love Costco. I love the people in Costco. But do you trust God when you go into Costco? Because you walk out of there more frustrated than you come in, you're not trusting God. I'm just letting you know. Because I tell you what, trusting God for your emotions in the small thing,
Ooh, wow.
just that peace that passes all understanding. How can you go in there smiling and come out smiling? Out of Costco, that's because I believe in Jesus, man. He gives me the peace that passes all understanding and the patience. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you find yourself stressed throughout the day, are you really trusting God? Mm-mm. Is it really? Yeah, we can all say yes in moments, but I'll tell you what, I guarantee you I don't. I can't speak for you. You can only speak for yourself. But I've seen you people, a lot of you people, stressed out. Don't tell me yes unless you're always happy. Come on. This is not a bash. This is a check yourself at the door thing, because if you want to live a happy life, We're going to trust God. We're going to seek him first all the time. And it's not a religious thing. See, the reason I do things that go to life lessons is I'm a youth pastor. That's what I do. My job is to teach these young people how to live a believing in God life at school. And when they get out of school, how to live a believing in God life at work and at home and wherever else. That's my job. That's what I do. I don't just bounce a bunch of Bible stories off their face and tell them they need to be doing this and don't be smoking, chewing, and going with women that do. My job is to tell them how to do it, how to believe, how to walk into that high school and have a smile on your face going in and have a smile on your face coming out, regardless of what happens throughout the day. That's my job. And I'll tell you what, there is more adults that have the emotional capacity of a teenager than most of these teenagers that I work with right now. Why? Because they've never really let God do what God does. They say they do, but they're having a hard time with it. Now, does that make them a bad person? No. Is that who they are? No. This is one of my things that I love to say the most, or I mean not the most, but I say it a lot, is just because this is how you respond, your priorities, whatever, that doesn't mean that's who you are. That's just where you are. And then from that point, you can move to where you want to be. Because it's all about God. Again, I'm not beating you up. If you feel beat up, we can talk later and I'll apologize. But
blame me. It's okay. I can handle it.
But the point is we can sit in church and we can talk to people about all the great things that we do, but do we really? Yeah. Do we really check ourselves? Do we really do our own litmus test on ourselves? There is an amazing program. If you haven't done it, do it. If you've done it, do it again. It's called Heart Physics by Impact Ministries. If you want to find a way to really do what Joe's talking about, by seeking him first, do Heart Physics by Impact Ministries. Write that down if you want, or I can tell you about it again later. Heart Physics through Impact Ministries. Amazing program. You guys, it's basically, it sets you and God up straight up. It walks you through your issues. It walks you through your past stuff. It's a meditation thing, which means you're just talking to God. And you're focusing 100%. You're making God 100% your priority in those moments. It is one of the main programs that I went through that actually put me on my feet and got my head straight. Because back in the day when I was a teenager, I was beat down with the what's the word that they do? Condemnations. Thank you. The condemnations.
I was thinking that.
Yeah, I was beat down with it, and so growing up, I was in my mid-20s, completely depressed because I can't please God with my actions, with my thoughts, with my everything. And I was making God a priority, but I didn't know how to do it. I was living my life through a physical realm, and the next thing I know, I'm feeling awful about myself because I disappointed God. And I figured out through multiple different exercises, multiple different things, listening to multiple different people, and then eventually learning how to listen to God with this Heart Physics program. It really helped me listen to God, that he's not disappointed in me. He never has been. He never will be. Why? Because he makes me his priority.
So maybe we should make him our priority. In Hebrews, it talks about that the Israelites could not enter into the promised land because of unbelief. And it says, and they refused to enter into the rest of faith. And that's what you're talking about. And there is a rest. So that is a litmus test. If you're uptight and you're stressed and you're getting frustrated and worried, you're probably not appropriating or walking into the faith or the grace that God has for you. So I'm going to finish with Isaiah 40:31. And you can pull it up if you want, but you don't have to, because I'm going to read it in a different version. It says in the King James, it says, those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They will walk and not faint. Let me read it to you, if you don't mind, here in the Passion Translation. Do not yield to fear. Sorry, wrong one. But that is good, by the way. That is how that happened. I wasn't even looking at that, you know. Do not yield to fear. It'll take you down. I know, I'm going, that's really good. I like that. Okay. I'm going to read that anyway. Just go with here for a minute. It's the Holy Spirit. Do not yield to fear, for I am always near. Never turn your gaze, your heart gaze, your head gaze away from me, for I am your faithful God. I will then infuse you with my strength. I will help you in every situation, and I will hold you up with my victorious right hand. Now let me go to the other one, okay? Those who wait upon Yahweh's grace will experience divine strength. They will rise up on soaring wings and fly like eagles. They will run their race without growing weary, and they will walk through life never giving up. You ever feel like giving up? Let me read to you the explanation here at the bottom. It says, without fainting. It says the outer court is where we walk, right? That's our life, right? But the inner court, the holy place, is where we run, and it's where we soar like eagles in the heavens, into the heavenly realm, in the Holy of Holies. So you want to enter in to the holy place, right? Not just the outer court in a hurry, a few words, hearing a little word once in a while, just say, yeah. Mental assent, yeah, it's good, I like that, it's good. Okay, now I got to get going with this. Spend time to get into the Holy of Holies. Spend time to get into a super presence, that close presence, and then watch what happens.
Set yourself up to pass. Set yourself up for success. How do we do
Yes.
that? Preparation. Right? What is it? The how many virgins were there with oil? What was that? 12? 18?
I don't remember, but yes, a lot.
10? There's a good number of them. What was it? 10? The 10 virgins? 5 took oil, 5 did not. And the time to actually turn the lights on, 5 were able to go, 5 were not. Prepare yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, more importantly, spiritually. Out of spiritually, the physical will work. Think about this. Again, what you put through here goes through here. From here, it comes out. Look backwards in time to figure out where you are today. Seeking Him first will put you on a better path for tomorrow. You can't change the past. It can only tell you where you are today, but today can only tell you where you're going to go tomorrow. If you do the same things today, you're going to do the same things tomorrow, regardless. Doesn't matter. We're people, we're animals of habit, and that's what we do. Maybe it's a good spot. I don't care. It's not my department. That's up to you. Figure it out. If you don't like it, even if it's the smallest spots, right? Even if it's just, let's organize my coats because they drive me nuts when I look at them in the morning and I can't find it. I have to sort through them. Maybe we get a coat hanger and hang them up. Organize it, whatever it is. A lady asked me a couple weeks ago, she goes, Josh, I don't know where to start. She's coming back to God after many years of being away from God. She goes, Josh, I don't know where to start. I told her, I said, what did God tell you to do last time? She goes, what do you mean, 20 years ago? I said, is that the last time God told you to do something? She's like, I think so. I said, then do that. She said, but that would mean, I said, then do it. But that would mean go back and get hooked up, I'm like, well, then do that. But that's not going to work. I said, what do you mean? If God told you to do that 20 years ago, why would He change His mind? Right? Why would He change His mind? He hasn't changed. Just because your circumstances change doesn't mean that His has. Right? I mean, we hear all these amazing things in the Bible, but how do we apply them? How do we put them together? How do we actually put them in our real, every single day life? When we wake up in the morning at 2 o'clock and our dog's licking their paws and it's like driving you crazy. You wake up and you forgot to wash the dishes and now there's stuck food to your dishes in your sink and you got to get that done because you know you got to come home and make dinner. And heck, if you're going to deal with that, but that's going to make you late if you do it right now. So what do? You figure out a way to soak it, and then you throw it in the dishwasher. Hopefully that's going to take it off, but doggone it, it doesn't. So now you got to take an extra 10 minutes to scrape that off the casserole dish because you got company coming over in about 35 minutes, and it takes 25 minutes to get the potatoes au gratin going. Anybody ever been there? I know, but see, those daily struggles frustrate you. And then what do? We treat people a little differently than we did yesterday because we weren't struggling. We treat the most important people in our life a little differently because we're annoyed just in life in general, not necessarily at them, but in life in general. And so what are we doing? Are we really putting God first? Are we letting God take our emotions? Are we letting Him have the priority in our life? Are we taking what He has given us, all these promises of God, and using them in our life in the most productive way? Does that make sense? I mean, you put yourself down, you check yourself out, and you look in yourself and say, I am frustrated right now, God. Why am I frustrated right now? Why am I not focusing on you? Help me understand this. Walk me through this. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. To be prepared for what is to come is to take something now and start stocking it up for later. We have toilet paper. I love toilet paper. You know why I love toilet paper? Because that is the only physical priority that will trump any other priority in your life. You think about it, has there ever been a moment in time that you didn't stop what you're doing and take care of that business? Yeah, come on now. Come on, this is not a potty joke. Well, it could be a potty joke, but I'm not trying to make it a potty joke. It's a priority, right? I mean, it is the number one priority in our life. It's good for my business. It's good for everybody's business, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. But you think about it, we make that a priority. We don't have to think about it. It's just what we do. I prep up on toilet paper. Do you know how I got so much toilet paper? One box bag at a time. I didn't go down and buy a semi-truck and bring it up here with my thing. No, I can't afford that. I'd have to go into debt. We already talked about that, and it's not happening for me. But one thing at a time. You're never going to get there if you don't take the first step. Right? You're never going to get there if you don't take the first step. If you don't really seek God first in the small things. Don't wait for the big things to happen. Because at that point, you don't know what you're doing. There's a reason that when I can look around this room, I can see all the different jobs and expertise that we have. You didn't get there just because you decided you wanted to be a nurse. You didn't get there because you wanted that. You got there because you practiced and practiced and practiced and built and built and built, and after years of experience, you're there. Right? I mean, that's how you get there. If you don't start, like I say, it's not about the big things. It's about the small things. I really want you to focus on the small things. The little things. Those little irritants. Smallest of things. Why does that, you think about the small fights in your house. What are the small little squabbles that you have? Back in the day, mine was beard hair in the sink. Drove my ex-wife nuts. What I learned is I needed glasses, because I thought I cleaned it up good, but then I got my glasses, but I'm like, oh, dang, I understand. That was bad, but that was a squabble. So my question is why is that such a big deal? Why is it such a big deal? Are we helping each other, or are we just expecting others to do something for us because we said it, because that's my priority, and you make it yours? Put the toilet seat down. That's my priority. Make it your priority. Good thing to do, but is it really? I know this is a different side thing that I'm talking about, but think about it. What are the things that irritate you? Start there. And give those to God. The toothpaste in the sink that's just like dry. It's like, oh my God, why can't you? Why are you frustrated? Settle down. It's just toothpaste. For goodness sakes. You know what I'm saying? It's just toothpaste. But something like that, and I've seen it hundreds of times, and you've seen it too, just toothpaste will set somebody off and they're getting a divorce. Not because of that, because that was it. That's it, I'm over it, But why? Why is that such a priority and this not? Because you're not doing what I ask you to do. Check yourself where you're getting frustrated and give those to God first. And as those build out and you trust God in the small things, the big things are cake, man. The big things are cake because you're already prepped up on the small things. That make sense? If we seek God first and His kingdom,
and all these things can be handled that he's talking about by a close, intimate relationship with the Lord Jesus. Okay? Right? So I want to leave you with this thought. He said, come to me, those of you that are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. And I think it's in the message. It says, come and learn the unforced rhythms of grace. Think about that, how that rolls off here when you say that. The unforced rhythms of grace.